Hey, Mars. Can't make it till Addict Club meeting tonight. You take it for me?
I don't know,
Thanks, Mars.
But, Marcy, I need a list of council phone numbers. I'll get it to Mrs. Kent.
Come on, Mars. Honor Society meeting.
I can get the information from somebody. I have student government now.
Oh, all right.
Student counseling, let them cover physics. Where's that stupid folder?
Good morning. Today's activities include the sophomore volleyball game with the JV game to follow. Spirit girls are to hang signs this morning. Committee members to see Marcy Wilson in the gym. Land club members, see Mrs. Kelly to pick up your sales packets.
Days are getting shorter, like every minute had fewer seconds. It was at least 2:30 in the morning before I got to bed. I couldn't keep up the pace.
Ain't nothing in these pills but caffeine. They call them turkeys.
Caffeine, nothing else?
Oh, I know best. Caffeine with extra caffeine.
Those 2 turkeys lasted me for a while. Then I started taking more and more, but it still wasn't enough.
Try these. Hey, watch it. Pop that mini and you're dead. These are real things. Browns, amphetamines. Just take 2.
They look like the turkeys.
The morgues are full of people who thought that.
Those 2 uppers lasted me all morning. I thought I found the answer. But in a week, I had to do 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 2 in the evening. I was so hyped up that I couldn't sleep. Then I found honors. I did uppers all day, then volume at night to calm me down. Life turned into an elevator. One morning, I couldn't get going. I knew I had to quit, but I didn't tell anybody. I thought I could bring myself out of it.
Mercy, are you sick?
Yes.
Do you want me to stay home and take you to the doctor?
I'll be right, Mom.
Are you sure? See you at 5:30 then.
So Mom went to work and I quit the pills. They were off about 10. I got scared. But I knew when I had the shakes. I tried to rest, but I got sick 4 or 5 times. The shakes got worse. I tried to walk, but I cast my face over upon my dresser as I fell. I tried to reach my phone, but I couldn't move that far. My muscles wouldn't respond. I remember seeing posters at school, drug counseling, crisis line, saying it was too dangerous trying to put it alone. Then I felt my body slowing down. I actually felt it happen. My skin got cold and damp. Then I felt my breathing slowing down. My watch read 2 o'clock, then it read 3 and 4, and I never saw it read 5.
The thing me and Angie used to like to do was get a supply of quads and go out to this little airport and watch the planes take off. We'd sit by the end of the runway and just watch them go. After a few quads, those seams just seemed to hang in the air, moving so slow you can almost count the rivets in them. We got numb or weird a lot. Angie about went crazy a couple of times when she thought the planes were coming straight at us. But I don't know, we just kept doing them. We'd been looting a while one day and there was no action on the runway, so we drove over to this hangar. They were working on this big twin-engine plane. Those props were moving so fast you couldn't even see the tips. We had a couple of quays left when we popped them. When that glue took hold, those props just seemed to slow down until they're moving like some fan in an old movie.
Dan, those props are moving so slow. I bet I could walk right through them.
Yeah, well, I can too. Of course, those props were still going full speed and 10 feet high when we walked into them. Angie lasted 2 days. I lasted 3. And enough pain for 100 lifetimes.
Okay, put your hands together for Kenner Star Quasar.
Played 90,000 in Supertown, 95,000 in Dallas, and 100,000 in L.A. rolled by noon. Our first album was still #1, and a new single topped the charts by Friday. We were hot in concerts. It's like having 100,000 people say, I love you. It's like this enormous wall of love. And you've got to give them all they want, because it can't ever end. Once you've had it, you can't do without it. And you can't do without the preparations either. The mirror, the blade, and that beautiful candy. I spread those lines out 2 hours before the show, and there's nowhere else in the world. I heat it and smoke it, and it hits. Someone's always trying to drag me, though, saying I'm trashing my brain or that I'm murdering myself, or tell me a time that coke killed someone. Like one of the roadies got so gone on this stuff, they fell me at the sound check wheels in Phoenix. I don't want to hear about that stuff. I've got a show to do.
A very strange reaction. The more I see, the more I do. Baby.
The second they told my dad he had a baby son, he started writing my Olympic gold medal acceptance speech. But I started disappointing him right away. This guy at the office had a baby girl almost the same day I was born. He and Dad had a standing bet of $5 who'd do what first. Dad lost when that girl crawled, said her first word, and cut her first tooth before I did. I tried out for every sport, only to get back boy, manager, or the bench.
I don't get it, Tony. I was MVP in college football 3 years, medals for marathon and wrestling. What's the matter with that boy? There's got to be some millionaire someplace.
But it didn't look like there was any ability anyplace. Then I got to be about 15, and Dad just decided he'd get some beef on me. So we went down to the gym.
They got a great weight training program down there. Best thing for you, Bart.
As soon as I started on those weights, it felt exactly right for me. The gym opened at 6 a.m., and I was always waiting by the door. Been doing some bench pressing one day. This guy came over to watch me.
How you doing?
I don't know.
Looks like you've been at it a couple weeks. You're doing pretty good. Of course, you could rush things a bit. A few strides to get you through it.
I don't need it that easy.
All right, I'll be around.
In a week, I hit a standstill. I couldn't pump more, and I wasn't getting any definition. Worse, I didn't have the endurance to work out as long as I wanted to.
How's it going?
I don't know.
Come on, I'd never do a lift who couldn't tell the ounce what he's done. You're frozen up. Here, take some of these, they'll get you going.
So I met roids. At first, I thought it was nothing. I didn't feel any different. But that night, I was still pumping hard when they were getting ready to close place. I've been bench pressing 185 easy, so I worked up to it. It went up like nothing. I took another pill and waited. I loaded 125 on each side. Laid down on the bench and grabbed the bar. My heart was racing. I pushed 250 up. I started down, then the powers of my arms shattered. My elbows collapsed. The bar smashed into my neck and kept pushing until it nearly touched the bench. Then everything went black.
I loved elementary school. I always knew the answers. Then everybody grew up. Everybody catch up. My first morning of junior high was a disaster. I didn't know anyone in any of my classes. I got sick and threw up in gym class. I ran home and I begged my mother, please don't make me go back.
Michelle, you have to. It'll be all right.
So I went to the kitchen cabinet and cut the liquor. I got a glass and poured. It tasted terrible, but I felt a little better, and I got to sleep right away. But the next day was just as bad. So in the mornings, I'd take a little drink. It was okay for a while, but then it was like every teacher decided that.
Tomorrow, each of you will read a report aloud to the class.
So then in the mornings, before the class when I had to read, I'd go to my locker and get a sip of whiskey from a fruit juice can I kept there. I tried to quit drinking a lot of times. I could tell it was getting out of hand. But then there'd be achievement tests or teachers hassling me. It would always be something. Then Art Phillips moved to town. He was in every class I was taking. One Tuesday night, the phone rang.
Michelle, this is Art Phillips.
Hi.
Listen, this guy's having a party Friday. You want to go?
I guess it, my mom's got something she wants me to do. Could you call me back?
No problem.
I had a couple drinks before he called back.
What's the word?
I guess it'd be okay.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Bye. I drank that night until I passed out. I was a run all week. I relaxed a little when we got to the party. There was a lot of beer around, and I got one for each of us.
How about something to go with that?
Pills? I'd better not.
Go ahead, everybody. Go ahead.
I'd never mixed drugs and alcohol before, so I took the 2 pills.
Try these too.
What are they?
I don't know. They had some over there.
I got really scared. Last year, a girl, Sally someone, got to drinking and taking whatever drugs anybody gave her. She OD'd. The doctors couldn't do anything for her because she'd taken 4 or 5 different kind of drugs and they couldn't trace them all. She was in a coma for 12 days. They had to put her someplace where she could be watched all the time. But Art kept on coming back, giving me more pills. I tried to throw them away, but...
What's the problem?
Nothing. The party turned into a nightmare. Kids were getting sick. They were screaming and yelling as if someone was torturing them. People started passing out all over the room. But I thought I was all right. I was still up anyhow. Then my head started spinning, and my vision began to fade. The last thing I could remember was someone coming through the door carrying a 6-pack. He dropped it and ran to the phone. Then I passed out too. Everyone at the party had to be admitted to the hospital. It was weeks before the doctors could tell how much damage the drugs had caused. They'd caused a lot. Art kept on slipping in and out of consciousness for 3 days before he stabilized. But in one condition or another, everyone who passed out of the party eventually woke up. Everybody but me.
You want to know something? I do paint. I also do hairspray, gasoline, glue, felt tip markers, and I've been known to do cooking spray. You want a huff? Well, what you looking like that for? You're all alike, you drug counselors and social workers and welfare shrinks. This stuff will get you weird and it'll flop you out on the pavement because it's starting to chip your brain cells away. And then you'll walk like you're sloppy drunk, if you can still walk. And you won't want to eat a thing, and you won't want to do anything except huff. Less and less of your mind will work, and what's left of your brain will turn to jello. You'll do crazy things to yourself and anyone else who happens to be standing around. Your kidneys will melt, your liver will quit, you'll fall down, you'll pass out, and before long, you'll be dead. Aw, aren't you sad about that? Well, the bottom of the barrel is 50 feet above my head, man, We both know you couldn't care less. Maybe I don't care either. Maybe. So leave me alone, man. I'm busy. That was me in October. But by Thanksgiving, my mind was sliding. I tried to think things through, but they just wouldn't come together. Every day I just huffed until I dropped. It didn't matter where. On Christmas Eve, I was dead, underneath the blade of a snowplow I never saw coming.
We had come home to San Francisco. The opening show was big. When we hit the stage, we saw people wall to wall. It was the biggest indoor crowd in the city's history. The applause for every number was so great, we had to settle them down. We couldn't hear to kick the next song. We were back for 3 encores. They just wouldn't give up. A helicopter was supposed to pick us up after the show, but the cabs would keep the cars off the landing pad, and nothing within 20 blocks was moving any place on the ground. So I decided to take up my little freebase kit and try it out. I got the torch on and started to bake. I loaded up the pipe and got the lighter down real close, so the first hit would be a killer. There was a large flare when it lit, but I had that before. And I waited for the base to hit. It hit. And then I caught enough reality to smell something burning. I spun my head towards the door and saw my hair go past my face was up in flames. I threw my head back and forth, but that only spread the flames to my cape. I screamed, but there was so much noise in the corner that no one heard me. I ran into the hallway, and someone threw a blanket over me and called the paramedics. Help was a mile away. The flames were gone, but I really couldn't sense it. It felt like the burning was going on forever.
Never much love in my life. When I was 2, my dad walked out and never came back. Mom worked day and night. Guys ignored me and I had nothing to say to the girls at school. So I tried to find a little love, sprayed on the back of a stamp, LSD. I'd turn up the stereo, drop some acid. People would always try and tell me about acid flashbacks and bad trips. I never believed any of that though. Then I met Ben. He was 7 and adorable. I'd sit for him 2 or 3 nights a week. We always had a great time. I've been trying acid on sugar cubes, tattoos. I got some shrooms once, but Ben was more important than all of it. If I knew I had to sit, I wouldn't take any of it. Then, one day after school, since I wasn't scheduled to babysit, I dropped some acid. Then Ben's mom called. Paul's boss just came into town, Jenny, and we need to take him to dinner. I know it's short notice, but could you possibly sit tonight? Something told me to say no, but I was afraid they wouldn't be able to find anybody else. Sure, I'll be right over. Thanks, Jenny. We always feel better when he's with you.
Are you okay?
Sure, Ben.
You seem kind of different.
I'm fine. What do you want to do?
Did you bring any records?
I forgot them.
That's okay. We can play some of mine.
That's when the acid caught up with me in the worst way. A bad trip. I started hallucinating, and I thought I saw something in the corner. Then, what's that?
What?
In the corner!
I don't see nothing in the corner, Jenny.
Can't you see it? It's getting bigger and bigger.
Stay away. You're scaring me.
It was like my mind had split into 2. I was still hallucinating, but I was trying to take care of Ben. Give me your hand.
No.
It won't get you, I'll help you.
Stay away.
I tried to grab for his hand, but he ran out of the house. Ben, stop! He ran into the street. A car from behind hit him and drove over him. I stood there in the street. The hallucinations were over, and all I saw was Ben. Then I ran too. I hitchhiked to Seattle. I wandered around, eating people's garbage. I begged for money. I'd think about buying some acid. Then I'd think about Ben. The temptation just got too big one day, and I got some. And I stood on a bridge over the expressway, watching the cars, watching their headlights come towards me. That's when I heard him.
Jenny.
He was there, in the middle of the street. I ran to him. I never felt a thing.
Well, they'll stone you when you're trying to be so good. They'll stone you just like they said they would. They'll stone you.
When my parents' friends came by, I used to roll the joints for them. When you live with dope, you start early. By the time I was in 4th grade, I was smoking every day, and by the time I was at junior high, I was dealing over $100 worth of weed a day and smoking nearly half a lid myself. Then I found angel dust, and that PCP on a joint was all I wanted. Mom caught me about that time.
Michael, what are you dusting that with?
Seasoning soap.
Don't be smart. Is that PCP?
What if it is?
I want you to flush it. This junk could flash on you, so leave it alone.
You've got to remember this advice was coming from a woman who spent most of her life with a beer in one hand and a joint in the other. I got to be a duster deluxe. That's what got me busted. Sold some grass to a girl at school. We got high before class. She got weird in class and started screaming. They found the stuff in her purse. They told her they'd let her go if she narked on the pusher. She narked.
It is divert to this court that you are guilty as charged and 2 counts of carrying of a controlled substance. You will be sentenced to 2 years at the State Correctional School at Hopkins. However, your sentence will be suspended if you agree to work 12 hours each weekend at the Chemical Abuse Wing at the Children's Psychiatric Center.
Jail's don't appeal to me, so I took it.
Get a broom out of that closet, I'll lock the vegetable bin for you.
Vegetable bin?
You'll see what I mean.
He unlocked the door. I saw the vegetable bin. It was the ward of the most pitiful-looking people I'd ever seen. Most of them PCP flashers who'd never be outside again. The stink was unbelievable. One guy flashed, but ants were inside his hands. He slammed his hands against the floor again and again. He had broken almost every bone in his hand and had to be fed by an orderly. One girl couldn't speak. About 2 years ago, she woke up imagining that her tongue had turned into a tarantula. She ripped it out. They found it on the floor across from her the next morning. She had loosened all her teeth, and she had clawed the inside of her cheeks so bad that the marks showed on the outside. I saw what the judge was after. I quit grass that day. I moved in with my grandmother. It was nice to know that there was some place where there was nothing in the brownies but chocolate. I was through with grass, but the PCP wasn't through with me. It was January 16th, 45th day I'd been clean. At 2 a.m. I woke up. There were rats chewing behind my eyes. I slammed my fists into my face, but they kept chewing. Then I found my grandmother's knitting needles. I shoved them into my eyes, again and again, until the rats quit chewing.
Can I have your attention? Can I have your attention, please? It is with my deepest grief I announce to you the death early this morning of Kendra Starr. We would like this concert to be a last tribute to her. We would like everybody she loved be in that tribute. Thank you.
Star Memorial Concert. Everyone stayed. Not one ticket was returned for a refund. Kendra Starr died the way she lived, without wild love around her. There are worse things than dying at the height of your career. You could have 5 people take care of you all the time. Or you could hear all the new voices and never feel that wild love again. You could be alive like this.
Bart Clemens, site of death, Nolan Health Club. Death due to cardiopulmonary arrest, secondary crush injury, and tracheal laceration caused by falling weight bar.
Mercy Wilson, site of death, 883 Circle Road. Death due to respiratory arrest and subsequent brain death. Probable drug overdose. Traces of amphetamines and barbiturates in bloodstream.
Jenny Angelin, site of death, I-71 Seattle. Death due to contusions, lacerations, and internal bleeding. Trace amounts of hallucinogens in bloodstream.
Dan Carson, site of death, ICU Scott Hospital. Death due to cardiopulmonary arrest, multiple lacerations, multiple dismemberment, internal hemorrhage, near decapitation by overpulling propeller. Methaqualone present in bloodstream at time of incident.
Luis Delgado, site of death, 96th Street. Death due to massive crush injury caused by municipal snow removal vehicle. Extensive liver, brain, and kidney damage due to inhalant abuse, contributory to incident.
Michelle Bailey, site of death, 2816 Patton. Death due to massive drug overdose, specific drugs undeterminable. Complicated by blood alcohol level of 3.0.
Michael Evans, site of death, 110 Maple. Death due to brain injury of self-inflicted knitting needle puncture wounds. History of drug abuse possibly contributory.
No one needs to suffer alone. Here in Waukesha County, confidential drug and alcohol counseling is available from several agencies. No matter how serious the drug or alcohol problem you or someone you know may be facing, or even if you only have questions, do not hesitate to call. School counselors, staff, and teachers are also a source of advices and support. Above all, remember that people do care about you. Please accept their help. It is not too late.